Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Wednesday, August 11th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. All right, good to see everybody. Come on in. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. Hello, Rhonda. Rhonda, thank you again for your contribution. Good evening, good evening. Hello, Amy. I'm just cleaning my glasses. Stacy, hello. Hi, sweetie. Hi, Angela. Whee! All right. Zoom out. So I hope everybody's having a decent year. So Stacy says, hey ILene, I'm here with GMA Grandma. Hi Grandma. Yay. Amy's got a busy, Amy Newland is here. She's got a busy weekend coming up. So she says on Friday night they're going to spend, some friends of hers, spend the night on the haunted USS Hornet in Almeida, excuse me. Cool. Wanda's here. Excellent. Good, good, good. All right. Couple things I want to show you guys. So let's settle in and get coloring. I've got a surprise coming for the group. One tomorrow. Hello, Melissa. Okay, Stacy's asking for some prayer tonight. Two things. Grandpa fell down the stairs this morning and is okay, but spending the night in the hospital. Okay. And the second prayer is that her ex, her son's father, had a stroke yesterday, and the boys need prayer for comfort. Okay, and your grandmother is there, Stacy? So she can hear this broadcast? Hello, Helen. Helen says she'll be in and out a bit tonight. All right, so hello to Grandma. Grandma, I hope you're enjoying watching this. We'll get some coloring going. Okay. Okay, guys, so we're going to start out with a couple of prayers here because one of our members is asking. Lord God, in the holy name of Jesus Christ, we come to you for 2 reasons. Stacy has asked for prayer for her grandfather who fell down the stairs this morning and is okay, but is spending the night in the hospital. So, Lord God, we thank you that that fall wasn't any worse than it was. His wife is sitting here listening to this, and we pray for her as well, that she will have her husband back very shortly, and that everything will be okay in the family. We put our faith in you, Lord God, and we thank you so much for everything that you do. Lord God, the second prayer that we come to you, again for Stacy, is that her ex-husband, her son's father, had a stroke yesterday, and the boys need prayer for comfort. Lord God, I pray for those boys, and that they put their faith in you, and that they will have the faith that things will work out and will be okay. Lord God, we have things happening in this world, and we hold on to you to help us through them. We pray for comfort for the entire family. And we thank you so much. The Garrett family is going through difficulty, and the Lanus family is going through difficulty. But we know that you are there for us. In the holy name of Jesus Christ, amen. All right. I've got 2 projects that I want to work on tonight, show you. So I'm working on the parrot. You guys are watching that. Oh, Stacy, you're welcome. We support each other in this group, guys, and I take it very seriously. So we are working on our pirate. Zoom out. Zoom out. And if you guys want to contact each other privately, that's fine. That's what we do as well. Okay. So I'm going to set our parrot, excuse me, our pirates, whatever that is, aside for a moment. And you guys kind of went nuts over these leaves that I colored last night. So I want to show you how I did that. Very, very straightforward process, but boy, the result looks absolutely gorgeous. Maddie commented this looked like ribbon. Oh, I'm going to sneeze again. Woo-hoo, hold on. No! I must be allergic to somebody's perfume in the room. Pearly. Okay. Zoom in. Thanks, Stacy, for the blessing. So I've pulled my light, my medium, and my dark pencil. I'm telling you, somebody's perfume is bothering me here. And remember, when you choose your colors, your light, your medium, and your dark, they've got to bridge together. Oh, Sandy, you ordered all 4 of Helen Elliston's books. I hope Helen is here because she's going to be in and out, so make sure she sees your comment, okay, Sandy? So when you choose your colors, you want to choose colors that are going to go naturally from the light to medium and dark. In other words, you don't want a huge jump. Otherwise, it looks really wonky. Zoom in. So in this case, here's my light. And then I've got my medium. And here's my dark. See how they progress very nicely? Yeah, Sandy, like I said. Hi, Harriet. Thank you for saying something so I know you can hear me. I love you, sweetie. Harriet, did you see my latest comment on your skin coloring? All right, so everybody clear on this that you don't want a big jump between your colors, right? They've got to progress. There we go. Helen said that she sees it. Wow, all four at once. All right. So Helen, if you're working in your room and we want your attention, we'll just holler at you. So let me show you how. Okay, yes I did. So Harriet said yes I did. I tweaked and posted the final. Okay, good. You got to remember, Harriet, that I see a little bit more than everybody else does. So that's why I'm giving you the critique that I am. So I don't want you to get flustered or frustrated. Or bark, haha, then my dogs will bark. Ooh, ooh, really? I wonder if I could do that. Ruff, 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 ruff. Oh, there goes Vicky. All right, Helen, did your dogs bark? Anybody else's dog bark? Woof, woof. Got mine to bark. Oh, we are nutty. Okay, Harriet, I just want to make super sure that my comments didn't frustrate you. Ziva didn't bother to move. All right. So let me show you. Listen, you guys, you're here in this group for a reason, and that's to get critique and feedback on stuff. Rhonda says, I just woke Toby up. Helen, did your dogs bark? Zoom in. All right. Let me get here. Zoom in. Zoom in. Let me know if I'm too close or too far away. So here's how I did the outside leaf for this mirror effect, or ribbon effect. So I've got my dark green. Now, remember how I told you to do stuff individually, right? And not, you know, to finish up a piece and then move on. In this case, you want to do them as uniformly as possible. So we've got a slight exception to, we have an exception to the rule. So this is my dark green. This is so cool. And the reason that I'm doing this as I'm going along is because I have to see where that white band is going to end up. Am I too close for anybody? Let me know. And let me know about the music volume. So Harriet, as I was saying, I think your coloring is improving by leaps and bounds. Okay, Sandy, you've got to go up into announcements and go up into files. And Dawn created a folder there for the contest. So click on that. If you go to the very top of our group and you scroll across, it says like announcements and files and videos and stuff like that. Scroll across until you see the files. Okay, everybody see how I'm getting that color now? Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay, Sandy, she said she found it. Good. La-da-dum. Now, Rhonda, I know that you're getting all excited about your grayscale. Angela says she's coloring leaves from her Jane Madej book. Okay. Some of them are faint, so I'm going over them with light green so I can see it. Okay. Oh, I hate this one. I have to. Okay, there we go. Hold on, I'm going to wiggle a little bit. Here we go. So she's going to go over them with light green so I can see them, and I have another frog. Okay. One more camera adjustment, guys. There we go. So here's my darkest green. And welcome to all our new people that are in the room. Please don't be shy. Welcome to our lurkers. We've got people in here who watch, who don't drop into the room. See, we've got more people watching than drop into the room. And you guys know that we're almost up to 1,500 people in our membership. Okay, everybody see how I'm coloring the darker color on the very bottom and the very top. Now remember, when one leaf covers your segments, you got to figure out what part of the segment is being covered, so that you know how to color it, and that way it's more realistic. Let me sharpen my pencil. And guys, if you don't understand something, stop me and I'll say it again. If you don't understand something and you don't say anything, you're wasting my time. Rhonda, what did I start to tell you? Who knows? Oh, yes, I know. I know. Whee! Don't get caught up in just doing grayscale, Rhonda. I want your next piece to be line art. Rhonda, you've got the Christmas Florals book, right? Okay, now I'm taking, watch this, zoom out. Okay, see how I've got this now? Zoom in. Now I'm going to take my medium green, and there's a reason why I'm emphasizing that. Zoom in. And I'm going to extend now the dark green a little bit with the medium green. But I'm not going to go so far. Okay, you don't have the Florals book. Okay. But I'm not going to go so far that I cover up that white. So I'm back blending. That means what? Somebody tell me what that means when I say I back blend. So I'm back blending and pulling down this green, but again, I'm leaving that little white spot in the middle, right? So Rhonda, I just want to make sure that you don't get caught up in grayscale. I just want you, yeah, she says, I know, I just love this pick. Okay. Okay, everybody see how pretty that's looking? Somebody tell me what back blending means. Come on, guys, this is a teaching group. You can spit it out. Okay, notice how that green now is starting to show up. Okay, Rhonda says line art. Angela says I'm loving this grayscale book of Jane's too. Yep. Don't get hung up on one thing, guys. In fact, what I would encourage you is if you have the book. Rhonda says pulling the darker color to the lighter. Exactly. Bringing the other color out to blend. Thank you. Remember, guys, when you answer me, you're teaching people. My dog is snoring. I don't know if you can hear it. Okay. So I'm starting in the darker color and I'm pulling it forward to the center with my lighter color. Exactly. And if you're new to the group and you don't know what I'm talking about, Stacy, what is your grandmother's name? Okay. Zoom out. Greta. There we go. Hello, Greta. I can't call you grandma because you're not my grandma, but... And what's your grandfather's name? Zoom out. Angela Campbell says, we once had a cow in the backyard lay down next to our bedroom wall on the outside. Now that is snoring. Now that's that's funny. Excuse me. So we have Greta and Kenneth. Okay. Now I'm assuming that Greta didn't accidentally give Kenneth a little push and just to get him out of the house so she had some peace. You know I'm joking, right? I know. So I can call her Grandma? Okay. Oh, she colors every time she sits in her recliner. Okay, the background is pencil. Why pencil versus marker? Asked Harriet. No, the background is pencil. On this blue. And sometimes I feel like using marker and sometimes I feel like using pencil. Does that make sense? Zoom out. Hopefully I answered your question. Okay, everybody see how I got that ribbon look? Isn't that cool? Now remember, this is a Millie Marotta book. And when I first started coloring in her books, I went like crazy because I thought they've been married 67 years. Oh, Grandma, that's great. A lot of times I'll pick a medium based on how I want it to look. I could have used marker on here, but I wanted to have that really great contrast. I use paint, I use pastels, I use gelatos, I use eyeshadow. She says thank you. So Greta, where did you meet Kenneth? Zoom in. Okay, now, heads up. So I have my dark, my medium, and my light green. Now I'm going to take my medium and my light green. Watch this. This is where it gets cool. Zoom in. Harriet says, got it. No patience for pencils on backgrounds, too much blending. Okay, Harriet, look, you've got to do a pencil background because that's going to help you get used to your pencils. And what I do is I plop down. Stacy says Raton, R-A-T-O-N, New Mexico, and got married after 6 dates. Oh, how cool is that? Zoom in. Zoom in. Come on, zoom in. Every once in a while, Annie acts up. Okay, now watch. So now I'm going to take my medium. Kenneth came into the restaurant and she was a waitress. Neat. So Kenneth just knew that he found his lady. So Greta, what did you think of him when you first met him? Okay, everybody see, this is my medium green. Harriet, what I like to do is I'll sit down. I've got this like huge, humongous monitor in front of me. And what I'll do is when I'm doing something like a background, I'll put on TV. And I'll watch TV. And I like things like the old Mission Impossible. Yes, the leaves do look curved, and that's exactly the, yep, that's it. And why do they look curved? Because we've got the darker towards the outside and the white in the center. Is everybody clear on that, how that effect happens? She thought the first meeting was awkward, but once they got together, it was good. So Greta wasn't sure on the first meeting. So he asked her out, right? So Greta, did he like ask you out right away, or did he have to come back and get a few meals first? I hope Greta has a sense of humor. Okay, everybody see how I'm putting in that first green? Zoom out. And then I'm going to go on the other side. Must have been great customer service. There you go. Oh, it was a process because he was in from out of town, but not a long one. I got you, Stace. Okay, Sandy wants to know if I'm going to blend the other part. What do you mean, am I going to blend the other part? So the other part of the green leaves where that white's in the center, no, I'm not going to blend it because I want that stark white. No, ma'am. Okay, so this is my medium green. And now I'm going to come in with my lightest green. Zoom in. Well, Greta, I am so happy for you and Kenneth. I really am. Okay, do you see how I'm putting in that last green, which is my lightest green? They both had had a bad morning and he ordered a Coke. She told him, don't you know Coke will give you ulcers? Okay. And he told her, well, they would be my ulcers. Okay. She says, thank you. Well, you give that young man a hug when he comes back home from the hospital. So, Stacy, what I want you to do for me is when Kenneth gets back tomorrow, I want you to take a picture for me of your grandparents and send it to me. I am. So, Greta, are you proud of your granddaughter and the classes she's been doing and the progress she's been making? We've been following Stacy now for, what, 3/4 of a year since she joined my coloring group. Oops, sorry, I gotta turn you. Zoom out. Don't you forget my picture tomorrow, Stacy. I am so sorry. Here. Zoom out. Okay, everybody see now how that's looking? So I've got dark medium on the very outside, and then I've got medium light on the inside. Over a year. Oh my gosh, has it been a year that we've been together? I know you're proud of her. Zoom in. Zoom in. Anybody have? Can you post photo on group page? I'd love to see them too. Okay. No, I really ask people not to put that kind of stuff in our group. So what you need to do is go to where the albums are, and if you've read the announcements, we have a space where you can put in photos that describe you. Stacy, you've got a file folder there, don't you? Now, what that does is that does post the picture in the group, and that's okay. So I've got a picture of Vicky and my 3 cats, and I've got my mug in there. Okay, everybody see now, this is my medium green. Now, this is where you've got to pay attention where your white line is going, okay? So you're going to have you tweak it a little bit based on where on the leaf you want that white line. So to anybody that's new, go into the files, create a folder with your name on it, and put pictures on there that describe you. If you care to do that. Okay, everybody see now how I've got that light green? So I have the medium and the light green on the inside of the leaves. I have the dark and the medium on the outside, and that's how I got this effect. Questions, comments? Zoom out. Oh, Amy said that she meant to say I'm off until Monday. That's okay, Amy. Zoom out. Zoom out. Everybody see how cool those leaves are. And as I said earlier, I'm not going to cover that white on the outside. I want that. And I know that you guys, some of you are probably used to coloring that and blending it. But you don't have to do that because it creates a different effect. There you go. Questions? Okay. Now, the next thing I want to know is where my other green pencil went. Who knows? Oh, there we go. Okay, and Harriet, you can blend it with white pencil. That's perfectly fine. But I want you guys to look at your colorings different ways and not get into coloring ruts. As in, oh, this is a such and such, so I always do it such and such way. Don't do that, please. So Rhonda says, how would you suggest to lighten grayscale that's too dark or is in the wrong place? Okay, I'm assuming that you meant coloring, that you've colored it too dark. I would use my little gummy eraser and see if I could get it off that way. You could gently erase it. Don't use your electric eraser. You just got to see if that paper will withstand erasing. Okay. And for the people that have the F-mat, oh, the picture's that way? I would not alter it. That's your job to deal with it. So when are Greta and Kenneth's wedding anniversaries? Wedding anniversary. Anybody have any questions? Rhonda says, okay then. I mean, I'm not trying to sound mean about it. It's part of the deal. Take a picture of it and send it to me and let me see what you're looking at. Okay. So there are the leaves. I'm having too much fun tonight. Oh, and let me show you, zoom out. September 18th will be 67 years that Greta and Kenneth have been married. Oh, wonderful. Oops, wait a minute. I always get this backwards. There we go. Zoom out. So here's the whole piece. And like I said, I started this, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And for whatever reason, didn't finish it. Now see on this one, I went with the darker center on here. Now, Millie Marotta stuff, guys, don't feel like you have to color every single little nook and cranny and design. You can just color like these normally, like you would leaves. If you want to color the little designs, that's fine. Some people get a little frustrated. Don't get frustrated. Okay? So that's the whole picture that I'm working on. I had 3/4 of this side done with the blue, decided to finish the blue on the other side. Don't get frustrated, guys. Okie dokie smoky. Questions, comments? All right. And by the way, Millie Marotta books are, a lot of them are inexpensive because they're older. This one is Tropical World. Which also reminds me to tell you that if you go to Amazon and you're looking to buy a coloring book, and it'll say other options, click on that. And a lot of the Goodwill stores sell coloring books, and their standard shipping is like $3.95 or something. But you can get some really great deals. So Stacy says we're going to say goodnight. It's been a long day. Thank you so much for the prayers. Greta, wonderful to meet you. Stacy, give Greta a hug for me. Greta, that's from me. Miss Greta, rest up and let us know how Kenneth is doing, okay? Okay. Our pirate. Fantasia. I always like to show you the book so you know where we are. And tell Kenneth to mind his feet next time he's walking down the stairs, will you? All right. So I did the sails for you. We did white and light blue. And the last thing I was working on was the sky and the dragon. The dragon was the last thing. Now, I want to show you something. Zoom in. Zoom in. Sometimes when you're coloring, especially if you're coloring with wax pencil, it'll be nice and smooth, and then the next day it'll look blotchy. That happens sometimes because the wax in the pencil separates. Don't let that throw you. So that's one thing I wanted to tell you. The other thing I wanted to tell you is if you've come back to your coloring with fresh eyes, and you decide that your blue, for example, is not dark enough, you can go back over it with colored pencil. That's the nice thing about the eyeshadow. And what you want to do is go ahead and get a similar color. And you can pump up that blue a little bit. See how I'm doing that? And that blue just got a little bit darker. Now you need to be really careful about your blending. Whoop. Especially if your blender pencil is dirty and has red on it from your dragon. Just be sure that you smooth that out, okay? Now, let me get rid of that red, because that was dumb. Now, another way that you can make your clouds, Melissa especially, is in your white areas. You can take your electric eraser and you can go ahead and go over some of your areas where your white is. And remember last night when Helen was talking about using the kneadable eraser? Let's see if I can do it on a spot here. Is when you've got your blue eyeshadow, you take your kneadable eraser and twist up, and it will make your little white spots. So in other words, you're twirling your kneadable eraser here. Everybody see how I'm doing that? A little hard to do without getting my hand in the way. Put it on your paper and twist it. See it? And that's going to make some pretty neat white spots. Questions or comments about that? And don't forget to add your little touches of gray, very light gray, because again, yep, you got it, twist it, that's right. Remember, when you look at a cloud, the next time you see a nice sunny day with the clouds in it, full of clouds, look at the clouds, take your iPhone, your smartphone, and take a picture. And you're going to see, I'm just making little white spots now with my kneadable. And you're going to see the different colors. And you've got to have a little bit of gray in there, otherwise you won't have definition to your cloud. Does that make sense? And you don't need much. Angela says, I bought that eraser, now I see how to use it. Yeah. I clean up messy areas with it, you know, drag it along and then roll it and drag it some more. Guys, clouds are not difficult. You're overthinking it. Now, I'm going to take my little Tombow here in between my sails because I got a little carried away with my blue. And I'm going going to erase out some of that blue just to lighten it up. There you go. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. And the really neat thing is too, you know, we put the blue in yesterday with the eyeshadow, right? So now come back with your pencil, which is a totally different blue, and go ahead and touch up some of those light blue areas with your other blue. And for that matter, if you wanted, you could also put purple in there. Zoom in. And if for some reason your blue pencil argues with the paper and or the medium that you've already put on there, you can use a little bit of your mineral oil. And blend that in. Now, I will remind you, hi Stephanie. Zoom out. Zoom there. Everybody see now how those different shades of blue are making the background look really great. And this is a puffy, open sky. I didn't do anything special with it. And again, play with your gray a little bit. Use a couple of shades of gray. Darker gray towards the bottom and then a little lighter gray up at the top. Zoom in. Stephanie, so good to see you. Everybody see this particular cloud where I've got that little shade of gray on the bottom and then a little splooch of gray right there? So this is my whole white area here. So put a little bit of gray on there. Sweet ILene is doing great, Stephanie. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Ha ha. Zoom out. Zoom out. Everybody see how that's looking now? Overall, in the full context. Not hard. So what I did is I put my eyeshadow on. Remember, I put my eyeshadow on, left white areas open, right? And then on the white areas, I slapped a little bit of gray on there. Done. Okay, I gotta bend this backwards. This is getting dumb. Okay. Oh, there's the back. Alcohol markers. Okay, don't complicate. Yeah, and the seawater on this cap turned out really well too. I'm just going to smush that a little bit more with my blender pencil. I want it nice and soft. And then you can also throw a little bit of white on there over the entire thing to make it soft, right? Because the water is spilling. And if you screwed up and got your darks too dark, fix it with your white. Okay. So let's go ahead and play with some water. I was showing you last night about adding the eyeshadow along the ridge. And I'm going to come in now with some white pencil and I'm going to soften that up. And smooth it out. Just a little bit. Now, I want you to remember, this is the Fantasia Wanda. Did your little choo-choo track run off the trail? Off the track? Choo-choo train run off the track? Join the club. Zoom in. Zoom in. And Wanda, again, you don't have to apologize. Okay, now, totally up to you, off the track and into the next town. Been there, done that, darling. Now, I've said this a million times. If you're coloring and you intend one thing and something else starts to happen, flow with it. Quit fighting your coloring. Bob Ross talked about, you know, a little bit about that. Happy accidents. Okay, now I'm taking a little blue and I'm just going to color up some portions of my water with it. And then I'm going to come back over it with a little bit of white pencil because that blue is doing a lot of popcorn effect. Now, here's an important point that I want to make, guys, is this. As you're adding pencil and different medium to your page, you are really stressing that paper, right? Because it has to absorb. And if you get to the point where you filled up the tooth of that paper and now all it's doing is your wax pencil is sitting on top and then you're starting to get problems with it, that's where you've got to go with the flow. And if you notice that your paper is doing wonky things, then embrace that wonky thing and make it look like you intended it to be that way. The other option you have is you can spray your piece mid-coloring to get that tooth back with your Krylon fixative. Better if you don't do it, but it's an option. All right, so I'm adding different shades of blue. A little bit darker in the background. And listen, guys, I am so excited. I can't thank you guys enough for those of you that were able to contribute to the group and send the gift cards. I am so humbled and touched. I was able to get something with it that I really wanted for the group, which I'll be showing you in the next couple days. I'm just so grateful and feeling so blessed. Now, having said that, I don't want anybody to stretch their finances to the point that it causes a problem. That totally defeats it. I know some of you get enthusiastic about the group and you want to contribute, but it doesn't help anybody if you do it to the point that it causes you a problem. I just can't accept something like that if it's going to be problematic for you. Okay, everybody see how I'm getting the different shades of blue? Zoom out. Still a little bit of rough on the horizon line. And guys, I gotta tell you, sometimes you'll be bopping along doing your coloring and your paper just will not accept the color, and there are going to be times that you're going to have to really push that blender pencil into it. I don't recommend doing it. It's not the best thing to do, but that tells you that you've reached your limit. Oh, Melba, hi. What was your sidetrack? Pearly, did you get all your questions answered about the sky? And yes, I will still do a stormy sky. I haven't forgotten. I'm not doing it on this one, but I'll do it on another project for you. Okay, I gotta find something. Give me a second. Oh, talking with a wonderful friend? Yay! I'm so happy for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get some beach scene done here. Now, I want to point out something about this area right here. And it's going to sound weird. ILene, how did you get to be so good? Art college? No, ma'am. Just years and years of coloring. Oh, and I want to show you something with that gummy eraser. Just years and years of coloring, and I just color a lot, and I just have that ability. Okay, I'm taking my gummy eraser and I'm dragging it across my white areas, and what that does is that curls up the edge, so I just pull it and I just keep doing that. You'll figure out how to hold your gummy eraser. The thing is, Angela, I pay attention to the details of stuff, and I know how the different product works, and that's when I start combining it, that knowledge. And I've always been good at teaching. Pearly says, I got me a gum eraser. Good girl. And you guys know I like to keep my areas clean. All right. So this is what I want to show you. This beach, a lot of people will do a straight across, okay? Well, it looks much better because of the perspective, is if you give it a very, very slight, not a lot, curvature. And the trick is finding that sweet spot between straight across and where it's curved too much. So this whole thing, if you follow my hand, it sweeps. Now, don't get stupid with it and do a, a super big curve. The trick is to put in the curve and not make it look like you put it. So as Rebecca says, honestly, Angela, a lot of art and design classes boil down to a lot of practice. Yep, and a lot of mistakes that you have to learn from. Exactly, guys, and that's why I keep telling you and telling you and telling you to not have a conniption fit when you screw something up. Just quit it, will you? Okay. I mean, that's why, Rhonda just asked me how to make some grayscale lighter. No, you work with what you're given. Angela says the music is sending you to sleep. Drink a cup of tea. Okay, is everybody clear about this little sweep, not making a line directly across? Yeah, put in the curve, but you're still using horizontal lines if you understand what you're saying, says Wanda. All right. And honestly, guys, the music that I play actually is meant to be relaxing. And for anybody that's new, if I accidentally get kicked off for whatever reason, it happens sometimes, which is weird, I'll be back within like minutes. Now, this area back here, which is a little spotty yet, I'm using a very, very light blue to fix that. And I want you to see, again, on this water, you just work your colors, zigzag your blues, you'll be fine. Okay, beach. We're doing a beach. All right. I'm going to pull my eyeshadow. Chalks would work as well. Did everybody see how I put that slight curve in on my waterline? Again, you don't want too much, you don't want too little. There's a sweet spot there. Do I still have my sand? Yes, I do. But in this particular case, I'm choosing not to use it. All right, now we're going to merge. I'm using a very light brown. I'm using my little applicator sponge tip because they have grippy on the material I'm using. And I'm going to let my brown streak a little bit. I'm using different browns. So I've got a light brown, and then I'm using one that's a little darker. Good night, Harriet. Good night, good night, good night. So notice I'm alternating by using the light brown and the dark brown. Okay, Angela says she needs to drop out for a bit. She'll be back later. Okay, Angela. See you in a bit. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this other side. Wanda, that time that you did the fairy with the fog, I'm going to do something similar, but will you please explain how you created that mist in the background? You used chalk pastel. Oh, Sandy says she's coloring the turtle for the contest. Okay, I'm going to use, Wanda used chalk pastel for the background and mist. It was so cool. And you're going to see something similar tonight. I'm going to use the edge of my little sponge tip applicator here and take a little bit of the darker brown and put in a few streaks here. And again, don't get too regular with your design. Will you explain how you use that chalk background for the mist? Did you use your X-Acto knife and scrape it on there and then just gently what? You blended it in, right? And guys, that also reminds me, when you're posting, if you would please just give a brief description about what you did, how you did it. That's for the benefit of your fellow peeps. Okay, now be sure that you get your chalk, or excuse me, your eyeshadow or chalk all the way up to your piece. Now, Pearly, this is where your eraser will come in really handy that I've now made. Oh, there it is. Okay, you use the sponge makeup applicator, scrape the pastels into a paper plate, okay, and dip the sponge into it to apply. All right. Now look, you see how I'm taking my little gum eraser here and I'm cleaning off any of the brown. You can see the brown here that's coming up. that got on top of the parrot. And we got some blue on there too. And this is why I like the gum eraser, because I can put little blocks on it like this on my finger and then just go ahead and clean off areas next to my eye makeup or my pastels. Okay, a little bit of brown. Zoom out. Zoom out. So here's what we've got so far. Now, similar to what Wanda did, and I've done this for other transitions as well. And this is where it gets kind of scary for people. Yeah, you can use a little bit of that eraser on your finger and then just erase areas to clean. And any area that you use eyeshadow or chalk next to a coloring, you're gonna get eyeshadow on it. Okay, so here we go. Zoom in. So I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, a little different than how Wanda does it, doesn't matter. And I'm going to start to obliterate that line between the sea and the shore. And you'll, yeah, the chalk and the eyeshadow erases beautifully, exactly. I just want to soften this a little bit. And then I'm going to take my Posca pen. Hold on, I gotta shake it until I hear it click. Now, I never know when my Posca pen is going to do something stupid like blot out a big glob. And it has happened sometimes. I've got to tilt you a little bit. So, I'm going to go ahead and double check it. Right now, I'm just trying to get it to prime. And then I'm going to put little swirlies on here. Now, all this is acrylic paint in a tube. So if you have white acrylic paint, you could use a brush, whatever you want to use. Zoom out. And the question comes up, well, how do you know how to put in your paint? Well, how high to put it? Go to Google, look at pictures of water crashing onto the shore and being foamy. And check it out. Now, I'm going to pull a little bit of my paint forward. And notice that I'm doing little swirlies with this. So you want that to look like circles, right? Like little waves crashing on the shore. And notice how I'm doing little circles with this. Zoom in. And notice that slight curvature, right? All right, let's get the other side. And I'm just making little squiggles, guys. You got it? Don't overthink it. And then just add your little touches of wave. And the thing is, as you're doing this, it's going to look more and more like neat waves. And so you'll be figuring it out what touches you need to do to continue to make of how you want it to look. Does that make sense? because this is acrylic paint. It's paint. The Arteza pen is a very narrow distribution of the white ink. And this here, it springs in and out. And it comes in different sizes. It's paint in a tube, basically. That's really all it is. So you could go to Walmart and buy, Sandy, they should be. I'll double check it to make sure. If not, send me a text. Posca pens are very well thought of. All right, I better quit while I'm ahead. Zoom out. Doesn't that look cool? Little squiggly circles, that's it. Not hard. Now, the set I have is in different sizes. Oh, Wanda, yeah, she already said that. So this set, it's got the large, medium, and small. Look how tiny the small is. You see that? So that's the small. There's the medium. Dita. And there's the large. Here, let me show you. There's the large line. And that's not going to show a medium very well. Okay, there's the medium. See it? Not this one because of glob, but that one. There's the medium. And then here's the small. See it? For fine detail work. Everybody see the different sizes on this? Oh, the things I do for my peeps. Okay. Yeah, trying out a new canvas, that's right. Next broadcast, coloring on your hand. But you see how beautiful this looks. And again, guys, when somebody looks at your picture like this, they are what's the word I want? Predisposed to seeing this as waves because they're looking at this and they're going, oh, ocean. Oh, foam. See? They're forming that picture. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my large pen here let me not do that. Hold on. Let me get my medium. You can hear me shaking that there's a little ball in there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a couple streaks of the white. Notice how I'm doing that in a wispy manner. I probably could even have used the smallest one. So we've got a little bit of white on here. Now I'm going to put a couple dots on there. Do you see that? And then I'm going to touch it with my finger. Watch. See the dots? Zoom in. And then I'm going to touch it with my finger, and what that does, look at that. It makes it look like little rolly waves. See that? It almost looks like they're cresting on there. And I like that so much that I'm going to take my light blue pencil, and scratch off those wispy lines that I put on there, because I don't like that. See, that's just scratching off beautifully. And you can either use your pencil like I did, or get your trusty X-Acto knife and scrape it off. Boom. Done. So, Posca pen, put a few dots on there, zoom in, touch it with your finger, and it becomes the crest of a wave. And if it blots like that, that's where you can go ahead and take your paper towel or your X-Acto knife. There, I'm going to scrape through it and make it look like that churn is water. Zoom out. Does that make sense, guys? Yay! Okay, we're getting into all sorts of material tonight, and that's the fun part. Questions, comments? Zoom out. Remember those little seashells that I showed you the other night? They're those little craft shells that I bought. And, oh look, I picked out two of the same. That's funny. We can sprinkle a couple on there if you want. I'm going to roll that one on its back so that the inside of the shell shows. Oh, that's a cool shell. Whoops, lost it. So there's a couple of those. Go to your dollar store and get some teeny tiny shells. And I don't know if you remember me telling you, but remember I said that I lost a set of my add-ons? I found them. Finally. So I've got a couple shells here. And if I can find a small enough starfish, oh, there's a little teeny tiny one right there. Put that little guy there as well. And what do I always tell you about add-ons? Somebody tell me for our new people. And guys, these starfish are like really delicate. They're very crumbly. Not crumbly, they're fragile. Don't get crazy with add-ons. Yes, Stephanie, these are real starfish. Yes, ma'am. Which I think really makes this project neat. Right, don't get stupid with it. Don't overdo with it. The best way to put your add-ons on is this. Your viewer of your piece should discover it. So in other words, as they're looking at this piece here that I'm doing, it's not going to be overly evident that I've got these on here. Heck yes. Amazon, here I come. Yeah, check with me, Stephanie. I'm 98% sure that they're on the affiliate list. But they are the cutest little things. Now, the detail on what I do, I'm turning this shell up. So I can see the inside of it. Zoom in. So I'm not just going to put it flat side down. I'm going to put it on here so I can see the inside. And I also want you to be careful how you place them, because you don't want them just all horizontal. You want to change the direction a little bit. All right. Let's get our other pieces secured here. Excuse my fingers. And remember that blue spot that I told you that I got on my paper because I was capping and uncapping my markers? Covered. And remember, when you lay something down, give it that little extra push so that it sticks. And again, I'm not worried really about this glue showing around the outside of my starfish. But, you know, if you can remove some of it, that'll be a little better. Okay. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this guy a little bit. There we go. Zoom out. And notice that I deliberately used the broken starfish up here. And again, I turned it upside down so you could see the pretty part of it. And this one here is right side up. There you go. All right, let's move on. I need to brush off the little crumblies from my starfish. Hold on. how neat that looks. You guys like it? Okie dokie. We've got the dragon, a feather, the boat, a couple things on my pirate. Now, I glopped a little bit of acrylic paint on my beard here, so I'm just going to scrape it off. Which brings up another point. This is why zoom in. Zoom in. Oh, sand dollars would be wonderful. Notice how easily that acrylic paint came off with my X-Acto knife? This is why I use the fix tip afterwards, because it goes over the top of that acrylic paint and it makes it stick and stay. Okie dokie. Oh man, that is so ridiculously cute. And again, as I've always said, if you don't like what I'm adding, that's fine. I just want to give you the ideas. And I still have to color his ear. So let's go ahead and pop up to our little dragon boat thingy. Oh, and what I started to ask earlier, when I showed you guys how to crimp that little holder thing on your eraser, did anybody do that and did it help? Well, you won't know until you come to the end of your eraser. Trust me, that little crimp helps. I was able to use that eraser down. Well, you saw how teeny tiny it was. Okay, so my boat right now, I'm going ahead and doing in reds and browns. I love this piece. I love this piece. It's just beautiful coming out. I'll tell you what, you get a little decoration on there and it just changes everything from night to day, you know? And conversely, if you put too much on, it changes it from night to day. All right, let me pull my colors. Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. There we go. So I'm going to pull out orange, yellow, and red, and you'll see why in a moment. I am having way too much fun. Okay, Stephanie, I'm sorry. I always all your pieces. Oh, use all the pieces because you think outside of the box of coloring. Okay. Oh, love. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. But I also hope that my techniques are helping you, like how to do this face and doing your light, medium, and dark like we did with grayscale. You're fine, Steph. I just wanted to understand what you were trying to say. Okay. So I'm going to color in a little bit of flame on our dragon here. Zoom in. So we're working with yellows, oranges, and reds, right? Now, technically speaking, the hotter part of the flame is in the center, and that's your red part. But I'm not going to worry about that. And let me pull out a decent red. Well, just as long as you guys, realize that you don't go too far out of the box, right? All right, so my 3 colors are on there. They look messy, right? And then we take the blender pencil, and we blend all these colors together. The prominent color of yellow is at the bottom. Yeah, I hadn't thought of the sand dollars. I'll put that on our wish list. And if you need to reblend, add your color back. That's fine. Now remember, when you're looking at the close-up view of this, it looks wonky. But I show you the close-up view for a reason, so you can see what the heck you're doing. So I'm running my orange now over the entire thing. And then I'll go ahead and run my yellow over. Isn't that pretty? And then clean up any whoopsies. Okay. And again, guys, all of this is color suggestions and ideas for you. Stephanie, I'm so glad that you are back. Okay, so I'm going to go for dramatic effect on the dragon. And Stephanie, by the way, and anybody else, if you buy those starfish, they will have a little bit of a fishy smell to them. They are real. Rebecca, good night. Good night, Rebecca. This is me waving at you with white paint on my finger. Pearly, good night. Did you have fun learning about how to color an ocean and a beach? And I do promise you a stormy sky. Stormy weather. Okay, now, on this plume right here, I'm only going to color it partway black instead of down to the line like I did the others, and that's because, yeah, it does look like a seahorse. That's what I thought, Wanda. Because I don't want all the black to merge together. Zoom out. And then what I'm going to do on this area here, I'm going to go ahead and color that black as well. And I'm going to color my ship here, just the railing. And remember, if you have the pens that come in different ink colors, you can do these areas in those ink colors as well. Like if you want to do a brown. Take your time, this is not a race. And notice how we're starting to get a really neat outline for the ship. And keep in mind that this is a hat, right? Zoom out. All right, everybody see now how that's coming up. cute. All right. Zoom in. Actually, I don't want to do that right there. Hold on. Boo-boo. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I'm working in the coloring ranges of the golds, the browns, the reds, right? And while I'm here, I'm going to finish this hat, I guess, for lack of... Angela! And what I'm doing is I'm using gray underneath the black. And that'll give me a really nice contrast. And I'm also going to carry my gray. Let me clean this up just a little bit. Angela, Good to see you. Still have a little bit of gold I want to get rid of. Hold on here. There we go. How was church tonight? And how are you feeling? La-da-dum, la-da-dum. Zoom out. Zoom out. Oh, you didn't go to church? Okay. Feeling fine minus a little pain. Okay. Okay, so the rest of my ship, for the moment, I'm going to be coloring in browns. Yeah, I did not do church in a little pain. Okay. Zoom in. I'm doing okay. Having a lot of fun doing this piece. Okay, so I'm tying the ship pieces together, which you'll see when I stay on camera. I missed a little bit of the red right here. And now I'm going through and I'm defining the areas of my ship that are basically going to be my brown, right? And here's one more area that I want to be black. And guys, by the way, again, do me a favor, that if you're coloring while I'm coloring, would you please post it? It's always fun to see what you're working on. Now, I have no idea what this part is right here, so I'm going to go ahead and just color that brown. And I'll go ahead and add that black. So this is where you want to work up your detail. Because what I don't want you to do is just to do a really terrific job on your pirate and then just throw colors onto this hat. Okay? So Wanda says she's working on her contest picture. Only have until the 14th to finish and submit. Okay. You gonna let me take a peek? Okay. So I'm going through with my brown at the moment and making sure that I don't have any of that popcorn effect. And remember, if you're getting popcorn, just go through and go back over the spot with your pencil and do it in a slightly different direction. Okay, and let me go back here. And again, if you can go in a slightly different direction, go ahead and do that. And that will help fill in your areas. And I want you to see now how pretty this brown is looking. Zoom out. Everybody see how beautiful that ship's looking? I think it does. Okay. Now, again, make sure that your browns are the same shade all the way across, okay? Now, I'm going to go and I'm going to get a very, very dark brown. And this is going to get a little dicey because we've got small spaces, but I want you to see this. Zoom in. So I've got a darker brown. Zoom in. And I'm going to shade my edges with it. So I'm going to color over the line and then come in just a little bit to create that look of a depth, right? And that means then that the center of each of these planks is going to pop up. Again, close-up view looks wonky, but when you see it in distance, it'll make a sense. Okay. And what do I always say? Don't forget, turn your pencil. And this is where it's especially critical when you're following narrow lines like this. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Any questions about what I'm doing? Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay. Now, this is where it's going to get a little interesting because let's see something here. Oh. Angela, good night. You going night-night? Angela, I really hope you feel better. You're not letting stress get to you, are you? Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. So on my boards here, I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm going to accent down the middle with a little bit of a splotch. Everybody see how that's picking up now, the depth? Angela, sorry to see that you're not leaving, are you? You're still here. Okay. And then this is where it gets really dicey, but it works. Is I'm going to use a little bit of white down the center of each board. And you've got to have a super, super sharp point to do this. Zoom in. And it may not look like it's doing something, but trust me, it is. Everybody see where that white is starting to appear? and popping our boards out. Oh man, guys, I really hope you can see this. Zoom out. Zoom out. Yes, no. Can you see that? Little teeny tiny touch, but it looks great. Zoom in. And if you got your white on anything on either side, take your black pen and fix it. Trust me, guys, it's worth the detail. If you want your pieces to look great, you want your details to look great. Okay, I'm going to color up one more area. And I really hope that as I'm doing these for you, and this piece especially, that you're starting to see how the colors are really coming together. Zoom in. So I'm going to use a mauve color here. And I want you to keep in mind that this is a fantasy hat, okay? Whoop. And this happens to be a Brett Funner pencil, mauve, like I said. And I need you to trust me on my color selection, because you'll see why I'm doing this in a minute. And I'll say it again for the bazillionth time, is you've got to quit being judgmental on your piece while you're coloring it. Because right now, if you were judgmental about what I'm doing, you'd be going, ugh. And you'd be saying, good grief, ILene, mauve, pink. But it will come together. And this is where it's important that you pay attention to your colors and what you're combining. Okay. So hang in there with me. And it'll make sense. Zoom out. All right. Going to tidy up a little bit. And again, guys, I want you to spend as much detail on something like this as you do the rest of it. And if you're tired of coloring on something, or it's not interesting you anymore, or you're starting to get negative about your colors, walk away from it for a while. Now, I'm going to run a little bit over, probably, because I just want to show you one quick thing on the mast while I'm doing this. Now, does everybody see how this is really coming into focus since I'm doing the mast? And I could have done the mast a lot earlier. Up to you. I don't want you to think that just because I left the mast to be the last thing that you have to do that. Zoom out. Oh, Rhonda says, talk about details. I spent the last 20 minutes using white gel pen to lessen the grayscale I didn't like. Okay. And Rhonda, when you post your piece, I'd like you to explain that. Okay, now, this is why I want you to stick with me. Aside from the fact that you love me. And guys, when you post your pieces, it is so appreciated when you explain a little bit about how you did something. Remember, this is a teaching group, and you are showing somebody else how you created the piece that you did. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. All right, so I'm going to use a very sharp brown pencil on my edges. I'm blending in the brown on the cylinder to come in a little bit with my lighter section in the middle, right? And look how cool that looks. So I'm simply outlining the poles themselves, and on the wider part where the bird's nest is, in the boat. I'm outlining and then bringing that color in a little bit. So Rhonda, now you've got me curious as to what you're changing, so I'd like you to send me a text so I can see what you did. I'm almost done, guys. Oh, that looks so cool. And you guys see now how the center is popping up? When I introduce the brown. And I can also see some areas where I missed the blue by the sail. Do you see it? So we'll fix that. All right. One more little shadow part and we're good to go. And this is where you'll really be able to see the shading with the brown on the mauve. And what I would suggest that you do, if you have a different color than what you normally use, like maybe this mauve, play with it on some blank paper. And your other option is, if you have a copier, copy the segment of the page that you're considering using the color on, and use the color and see how it comes out. Keeping in mind, however, that you don't have the rest of the piece, color and piece to balance against. So right now I'm just talking about using this brown brown with this mauve. It works. It really does. Zoom out. Zoom out. And I'm going to be adjusting these white areas here, but I'm not going to do that right now. So give me a couple more minutes and I'll have this one segment done. And I hope this piece is really coming together now and making sense for you. And I'm just going to put a little squirt of brown on here. One pass of my color because it's so narrow. All right. There you go. And I will smooth that out. I'm not going to do it on camera. But this is where too, you can take your white pencil and highlight your area. See this? Actually, I am going to do a little bit of this on camera so you can see it. So I'm going to pass my white pencil over, and that both smooths and highlights. There you go. And on my mast here, a little bit of white down the center. Look at that pop, guys. Hi, Jean. Delighted to see you, sweets. Okay. There you go. Still have a little more blending to do, but I don't want to tie you guys up while I'm doing that. questions, comments? Did you learn something? I still have this little piece to do. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. There you go. So I've got the headband to do. Whatever this little portion is in here, his eyebrow, his ear, and I think we're basically, and these two little circles up here at the top, and we're basically done. Questions? Comments? You know, when I ask for comments, I say, would you consider doing this? Would you consider using these colors? Does it open your eyes to anything? Do you like the way I did the waves crashing? And again, I know it's different where we got the little pinkish mauve on the hat, but it's a hat, right? Vicky says, yeah, it's a hat. Good, Jean, I'm glad you do, because I show you how to do these crashing waves and then to make these little waves in the background. All right, did anything on here intimidate you? Yes or no? Are you unsure about anything? Okay, well, Rhonda, remember though, it wasn't just all the chalks. It was the chalk to lighten the area where the blue and the brown came together, and then I used the Posca pens. So Rhonda says what? The sales intimidated you a little bit? Or are you more comfortable with them now? Okay, guys, I think we're in pretty good shape. I'm going to call it an evening. I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun. Oh, just getting the curves right. Not hard. I just paralleled what the author had done. Okay, guys. Calling it an evening. And that's the point, Rhonda. You said yes, but unsure, but you'll try. That's what I want to hear. That is music to my ears. All right, guys, I love you. I truly mean that. This is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Joyous, joyous coloring. And even if you don't color, I hope you had fun watching and watching a pretty piece come together. We're just about done with this. A few more things on here and then we're all set. Okay, guys. Love on each other. Be kind to each other. Ooh, look at all those hearts spilling up. I love it. Oh, somebody's going crazy with hearts. All right, guys. I hope you had fun. Take care. Bye.